When the U.S. Navy moves like this, it's not routine. This is a message. Before we go any further, this isn't news reporting. This is commentary spoken from experience and interpretation, based on publicly available information, focused on what this means, not just what happened. Because a lot of people are getting distracted by headlines and legal arguments and also the news media, and they're missing the bigger picture. When the United States Navy increases its presence like this, especially in a region like the Caribbean, it's not about one incident or one country. It's about signaling power, setting boundaries, and reminding everyone watching who controls the tempo. And the real question isn't whether this is required congressional approval. The real question is why this show of force is happening now and who it's meant to speak to. Once you understand that, the entire Venezuela situation looks very different. Here's where people get this wrong. They're arguing about legal thresholds, congressional approvals, and technical definitions, and that debate misses the operational reality. When the United States Navy increases its presence in the region like the Caribbean, that decision isn't made casually. Assets are limited, time is limited, attention is limited. So when you see ships, aircraft, and logistics moving into place, that tells you this wasn't planned. But Newsweek has just came out with an article saying that the boat strikes, Donald Trump's administration is saying the boat strikes does not need congressional approval. And right now, the precedent that has been set, as well as the law or the bill that was put in place under Chuck Schumer in 1986, basically laid the groundwork for Donald Trump to do exactly what he's doing here. This article is from Axios. Trump's Venezuela blockade fuels new uncertainty. This blockade is going to really cause some pain in the wallets for people around the world, specifically Iran and Asia, some of the Asian countries, because the blockade is going to cut into the money and the oil that they've been purchasing to keep their cities, their country on, running. Donald Trump came out publicly and spoke on a phone call with MSNBC and said that he will not rule out a war with Venezuela. Now, I believe that the reason that they asked this very pointed question, trying to get him on the record, is later on down the road, they can get this gotcha trap moment. And that's why Trump is not going to confirm. He's not going to paint himself into a corner as to whether he will or whether he not, because you know how that works. It leads directly to impeachment proceedings. Not only that, but if he says he's going to declare war without prior congressional approval, things get really out of hand. Now, what has happened? This is from U.S. Southern Command. On December 18th, at the direction of Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, JTF Southern Spear, Joint Task Force Southern Spear, conducted lethal kinetic strikes on 2 more vessels operated by designated organizations, terrorist organizations, in international waters. Anything's off the coast by 12 nautical miles is international waters. A total of 5 male narco-terrorists were killed, and 3 in the first vessel, 2 in the second. No U.S. military forces were harmed. You've seen enough of this clip. I'm not even going to show it. It's not something that I want to glorify of anyone dying. I don't agree with the narco-terrorists coming into our country. And right now I'm at the point where we stop them in any possible way that we can, up to and including more of these kinetic strikes, drone strikes, tomahawks, whatever they're flying to get these guys. Now, what you're seeing here, U.S. Southern Command just shared or reposted something from the United States Navy. Warp Speed, a Ford-class aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald Ford. It's the most technologically advanced aircraft carrier that the United States Navy has been pulled out of the Mediterranean Sea, and now it's in the Caribbean. This was taken on December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day, and they are, what I would say, flexing some of what I believe that the United States Navy is doing by sharing photos like this. This is on the flight deck, some operations, more images from the flight deck. What I believe they are doing is they're flexing. They are showing how technologically advanced we are compared to the Venezuelans. Here's more. This is another one from this is an MH-60 Seahawk helicopter, and they're going to share some photos here from the flight deck doing flight ops off the coast of Venezuela. This is all a social media ramp up. This is to flex. This is to show what our capabilities are. And in doing so, they very well could deter actual boots on the ground. And I am okay with this. This is what we need to do. 2 days ago, there was another strike at the direction of Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. And this is exactly what we need to continue until it stops, until Venezuela learns their lessons, until maybe these narco terrorists learn a lesson. The United States Navy is not quitting. We've gotten more information, more footage here, more images from the United States Navy, reposted by Southern Command. This is the 22nd Marine Expeditionary Unit, Special Operations Capable. That's always nice to just throw in there. Sailors on the San Antonio class amphibious ship, the USS San Antonio, LPD, Navy landing craft. They're flexing because these hovercrafts, these LCACs, are loaded with Marines. They're not patrolling in the Caribbean because Marines like to be at sea. They're patrolling. They are showing these images in hopes of getting Maduro and his group of followers to back down. That's what this is. There are hundreds of Marines on each one of these pieces of watercraft, and that's what they want to do. They want to send a message. These are more messages sent. Not only that, but it's letting the American people know that we're getting what we paid for, number one, getting what we voted for. And I think the other thing that this is doing is it's kind of rope-a-doping Congress into this. So when you see ships, aircraft, and logistics moving into place, that tells you that this has all been planned down to a T. This is not reactive. A show of force isn't about firing a shot. It's about shaping behavior before any shots are fired. It's meant to deter, to signal, to resolve, and to remind everyone in the region, allies, and more importantly, adversaries alike, that the United States still controls escalation. We control the seas, world's finest Navy. Timing matters. This isn't happening in a vacuum. It's happening amid global pressure points, competing conflicts, and questions about American resolve. So this move isn't just directed at Venezuela. It's being watched by other governments. We're sending signals to China. We're sending signals to Asia. We're sending signals to Iran, to Yemen, to Kazakhstan, to all these other countries that don't like us. That's why the messaging is so careful. Too much clarity locks decision makers into commitments. Too little clarity creates confusion, doubt. And once you've got doubt in there, it's hard to get rid of it. What you're seeing right now is intentional, and it's showing just enough force to be completely unmistakable, but enough silence to keep the options open. I want to say power works best when it's deliberate and accountable. And right now we're seeing both of those on full display. If this perspective helped, subscribe. Let me know what you think this signal is really about and who it's really for.